Three is a fantastic organisation here. They've got a rehabilitation program for their patients now, and they've got a preventative one, which is a lot more exciting than a lot, and they're getting a lot of plaudits for what's called the My Action program. So while we're trying to do a program using yoga, they're using different exercise interventions. They're using exercise, but what everybody kind of figures out is that yoga or exercise on its own, as Francis put it quite clearly, it's not really the answer. Just doing one thing on its own isn't the answer. You need to, like Cree have suggested, is you need to promote lifestyle change. So it has to be a combination of diet, exercise, and a number of other things. So while our results are really good and they sound fantastic, what the people have said, unfortunately, we haven't had a huge number of people do it, and we haven't had control groups to make it valid. So we're only going by the limited number of people that we did, about 70 people or so, but the results are pretty positive. So we'd like to keep going with this. We'd like if we could encourage GPs to refer people into a better design program that we've come up with. We'd like to do different things. So what we did initially was over that period, 2008, 2010, I got 400 kids to do it between the age of 4 and 12, and they all did a 10-week program. So here's a teacher here, and basically the translation is that I noticed myself that the whole class was a lot happier after they came back from doing yoga, and it was a lot easier to keep them under control and keep them a Cunningham or Ubber Naranga, and keep them focused on the work that they wanted to do. So this is what Martina in Rangakuig found. And then the principal herself, basically she said that we found from doing our yoga program, and a lot of the kids did 10 weeks, they all did 10 weeks. We did quite a few in this school, 2 second class, 4th class and 5th class. And we found in particular that you could notice during the yoga class, I could go over to the teacher and say, I bet you're having a little bit of trouble with him or with her. And while those kids are great and they had so much energy and they love the ball games and everything, try and get them to calm down a little bit, and it was quite difficult. But after week 2, week 3, after initially they'd be talking all the time and say, oh, yoga. And after a while, they were pretty interested in doing it, and particularly at the end of the program, we kind of noticed the difference, and we'd like to do more and have a look at this, So Dorina, the principal, who's a fantastic woman, really did it. So here's what one of the kids said. I loved it because I felt sick before we started, and every time I feel sick I get my yoga mat and start doing yoga. Then I feel much better, and my muscles were really sore, but now they're nice and relaxed. David is really nice too. That's pretty much the only reason I put that up. So the yoga in schools, we want to develop respect for one's physical body and mental health using the tools of yoga-based exercise, concentration. As you could see, Simon, when he was doing that stuff, I bet it took a bit of concentration, right? And we'd like to then get Francis's help to help give a little bit of information in our Yoga in Schools program to teach people about food, because the programs that are here, maybe not working. I don't get a lot of information as to what I should feed my kids. So with the help of Francis, we hope to give a little bit of information each week, because what we notice with the kids doing yoga is that they'd always want homework. They'd say, oh, what's for homework? So I'd give them some posture and that, and we'd like to give them a little bit of information to bring home. And we want to foster that kind of self-respect which comes from yoga, which may be the thing that might be worth exploring. We've seen that exercise-based interventions haven't worked a lot of the time. And Francis says to me, there hasn't really been any ones that are really just exercise on its own works. And I'm there, yeah, but I think yoga is a little bit different, because it teaches us a little bit about awareness, and there's no external force involved. There's no ball that we're chasing. There's nothing else. There's just the yoga mat there. And as the people in the Papillon program said, you can do it at home, and you can do it by yourself. And they actually kept doing it by themselves, which is different. We want to spread information. We want to give kids an opportunity because they love doing yoga. They just enjoy it. Most of them are pretty happy there while we're doing yoga in Barna National School, where I went. And we'd like to give them the opportunity of something that they don't get. Because there was a kid in that class with Down syndrome who was doing Navasana, this boat posture, a lot better than everybody else. And I was there, look at her concentrating. There was a kid in Galway who we had to take out of the wheelchair, and their SNA got them to do this stuff, and they're involved. The thing what we do is we've designed a 10-week program, and it costs €20 for the 10-week programs per child to do it, to deliver it, and at least to introduce it to them. So that's what we want to do. So we'd love if there's GPs, we'd love if there's school principals, we'd love if just you guys thought, okay, well maybe there was something from tonight that is worth spreading, that's an idea worth spreading. Then maybe we can go ahead and we can say to our school principals that we know, or we can say to the doctors, maybe you should talk to the school principal and say maybe you should try yoga in that school. It's not that expensive. And so I'd like you to thank you for coming down and supporting this, because we couldn't have done this without you.